Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Jim Master Show live entertainment lifestyle talk show series. How's everybody doing? It's so good to see all your smiley faces. Hope everybody's having a good day, and we welcome you. If this is the first time you're joining us, we've done about, it's around 650 episodes live, 7 days a week here on the Jim Master Show live entertainment lifestyle talk show series, where we are bringing back the lost art of conversation as we've done in grand style with great entertainment, poignant conversations, lots of our famous light, love, levity, and JMS levity as well. If you guys would like to comment during the show, make sure, again, you can comment in chat. That's right. The viewers, or we call them JMS levities, are commenting in chat right now in the chat section of our episode. And you can do that by subscribing to our YouTube channel. It's a special gift for all the subscribers who subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is Jim Masters TV, where we've housed over 600 plus episodes of our entertainment lifestyle talk show series. And it's really cool. Busy day for me. I had 2 TV shoots earlier today and then 4 radio shows to host. And we're back at it again tomorrow. It's just all part of the nature of the business. Love it all. Been doing it for years. Just like our very special friend who's actually returning to the show for the trifecta. This is his 3rd visit to the Jim Masters Show live exclusively. We're talking about, of course, actor extraordinaire, producer, author. Sean Kanan is here. And of course, you know him from a bevy of incredible productions. He's very excited because he's also the author of Way of the Cobra. We're going to talk about that in just a second. It's now available on Kindle. But of course, you know him from The Young and the Restless, The Bold and the Beautiful. Matter of fact, he's back on The Bold and the Beautiful. Of course, Studio City, which we created and is involved in big time acting, writing, and so much more. General Hospital, of course, you recall, Cobra Kai, The Karate Kid with Ralph Macchio. That's part 3. And the list goes on and on and on. He's prolific in his career in terms of just writing and producing and acting. He's always got his hands in so many different things. And we're very excited about sort of updating you guys on some of the cool things that he's doing. Of course, most notably Studio City, which has garnered so many awards. And again, as I mentioned, Way of the Cobra, his book, which is now out on Kindle. He also does have some cool author events, book signing events that are coming up too. We're going to keep you abreast of all of that. But thanks for joining us, everybody. I see lots of comments built up here. Continue to post away. We'll take a look at some of those in just a second. Don't forget, subscribe to the YouTube channel, which is the channel you're watching right now, Jim Masters TV. It's a cool place for cool vibes, great episodes of our series, lots of interactivity. Don't forget to click the notification bell so you never miss the alerts we send out on all the terrific episodes that we do. And of course, give this episode a hearty thumbs up, like, and be sure and leave a comment on the YouTube channel as well. Again, it is our pleasure to welcome Sean for the 3rd time back to the Jim Masters Show live. He's all excited. Matter of fact, we pushed the show to 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific for Sean because he's so busy. He literally just got off a shoot in Los Angeles, just got off set, hopped in the car, went 100 miles an hour, dove into the chair, adjusted the lighting, got something to drink, and here he is.
Hey, brother,
that's pretty much how it worked, right? Jump in the car, jump in the chair.
I didn't jump in a car. You know what I use a lot when I go to the studio is I ride a bird. You know the
oh yeah,
scooters?
yes.
You can just go so fast. So I was running late. I was like, I gotta find a bird. I found one, rode through the city, made it here, and here I am. So thank you for having me back. I appreciate it.
Oh, 3rd time, trifecta, and we'll always have a place for you here, Sean. How have you been since we chatted last? You know, it's been maybe about a year, 10 months maybe, and a lot has gone on. A lot has changed. You know, we've gone through a pandemic. There's so much going on. But you've kept your nose to the grindstone. You've been busy. You've been producing and acting and writing. And tell us about some of the cool things that you've been up to.
Let's see. Okay, I'll pick a few randomly because there's been a lot of stuff going on. One exciting thing that's going on right now is I'm back on The Bold and the Beautiful, which is wonderful for me, playing Deacon Sharpe, which is a role I originated starting in 2002. And this year and this month is our 35th anniversary, which is just such an amazing accomplishment. You know, this show is seen in, I don't know, it's something like 45 different countries now.
Yeah.
And, at the very end of the year, I was asked to come back by our head writer, executive producer, Brad Bell. And, it had already been a really special year for me, work-wise. And to get the call to come back to a show that I really consider home was just a huge blessing. So that's what's going on.
That's really cool. And the book too, again, the book is fantastic. Yes. Congratulations on that. Tell us, for folks who are not familiar with that part of your life, the importance of that book, because with that book, you've got a lot of other things you're doing. You're doing coaching and inspiration and empowerment. It's really a whole other extra side of you that people are discovering, which I think is really, really cool, Sean.
Thank you. Yeah, I've always been interested in personal success, motivation, inspiration, all of that. And this is my third book. It's called Way of the Cobra. This is far and away my most personal book. The way that it's structured is that I'm the sensei. You're a student in my dojo, the dojo of life, of Cobra life. Cobra is an acronym formed from the words character, optimization, balance, respect, and abundance. And these are the strategies and the philosophy that I've used, that I live by to achieve, a lot of what I've been able to do. And, people ask me a lot, Jim, they say, well, what was the genesis of this book? How did it kind of come into the ether? And I was at a place in my life a few years ago where I'd had some pretty good success. I had had some epic failures, some of which were rather well publicized. I had just turned 50, and I was looking in the mirror going, okay, what's next, buddy? What's the next act here?
Yeah.
And I was 35 pounds overweight. I had no immediate prospects for acting work. And I realized that I needed to do some things very differently, very quickly, if I was going to turn things around. So I decided that rather than wait for the ship to come in, I was going to build the damn ship. I just had to figure out how to do it. Right. And I started doing some things very differently, and very quickly, I started having some extraordinary results. And so,
what was the first thing that you did? What was the first step you took?
The first thing that I did, and I talk about it in the book as Quartermaine. We've all heard the saying Carpe Diem, which is seize the day. Yeah. Well, I've coined Quartermaine, which is dominate or seize the morning. And I started waking up early. And when I say early, I started getting up 5 o'clock in the morning. And the reason for doing that is because if you can get your day going a couple hours before the world wakes up, before you're bombarded by the external chaos of the world, if you can center yourself through some meditation, you start the day in gratitude, which means you're living in the present, visualizing what it is that you're doing for the day, do some reading, all the stuff that centers you, the meditations to shut the monkey chatter out, so that by the time like 6:15, 6:30 rolls around, man, you're ready to go. That was the first thing I did. The next thing that I did was I really started honing in on getting my diet in order, putting in a workout regimen, and really creating a lot of self-discipline. And I talk in the book about the difference between discipline and self-discipline. Discipline is a fantastic thing, okay? Mm-hmm. You look at the success discipline has in the military. You look at the discipline that it has in, say, the penal system. You've got chaotic individuals that will behave for the most part in a way that is regimented as long as discipline is exerted upon them. Mm-hmm. Take the military. Why is the guy that's a Marine in peak physical condition at 22 becomes a couch potato at 60? Well, once the discipline is removed from the equation, maybe they don't know how to self-discipline themselves. So I talk about it as the difference between having a personal trainer is discipline and can be highly effective. Self-discipline is you getting yourself to the gym. Okay. So I started self-disciplining myself. And, I started having some really amazing results. And I always say that before you think that I'm, levitating on top of some mountain, contemplating my navel, I've made every one of the mistakes in the book a dozen times over. And so really what I wanted to do was take a lot of the experience that I've had, both the challenging and the successful, and offer it as advice in a really fun, sometimes cheeky, sometimes serious construct, which is that I'm the sensei, which means teacher. And the book is divided up into belts, and I take you right through getting your black belt. And people are having absolutely amazing results from the book, paradigm shifts. And it really makes me so happy to receive these emails and phone calls from people. If you're interested in getting the book, it just came out on Amazon, and the ebook just came out on Kindle. Okay, Amazon will probably take you about 10 days to get. And if you would like to get a signed copy of the book, you can get it at wayofthecobra.com.
That is really cool. I tell you, it's fantastic. Tell us about the cover. Who designed the cover? It's
Oh, the cover is
fantastic.
awesome. Thank you. My wife, Michelle, did it.
Did she
And
really?
yeah, and it's obviously a really cool cover, but you have no idea the amount of work that goes into doing. It's very technical, and Michelle literally taught herself a program so that she and another friend of ours, Jay Hernandez, were able to create this. And the cover of a book is really important. This cover really seems to attract people, attract the eye. We did use the same color scheme as Cobra Kai, specifically because it's become such a juggernaut. But we had to design our own Cobra because they own that Cobra. So Michelle made this fantastic cover, and it's really served as a magnet, because you got to get people to kind of pick it up and take a look at it before they decide whether or not they want to read it.
Exactly. And what's been the response? What have people been saying who've really been soaking it up? We got comments coming in live right now, Sean, from folks who are raving about it. They're like, it's
Thank
actually,
you so much.
it's changed their lives in such an incredible way. And I'm sure when you hear that, that really moves you, huh?
I'll tell you something, Jim. I thought that I became an actor because I wanted to have a voice. I wanted to express myself, and I love to entertain people. And as I've gotten older, I realized that I really became an actor because I want to inspire people.
Right.
And as I've gone down the path further, I've realized that acting is only one conduit for me to be able to do that, to connect with people, to inspire them. And now through my writing, it's been a fantastic way for me, other than my acting, connect with people and really help change their lives. And the great bonus about it is that it in fact changed my life completely too. Here I am, the guy writing the book, putting myself in the position of being the teacher and the sensei. But I say right in the book that I am learning right along with you, and that you are my teacher as much as I'm yours. And so for everybody who's read the book, I just want to thank you so much. I mean, it really has become a bit of a movement. And now that it's moved into Amazon and Kindle, and it's going to be moving into all sorts of different places where people can get it. And I'm already working on the follow-up book. It's just been so exciting to see where this is going.
It's really exceeded your expectations, hasn't it? That's really amazing. You talked about Bold and the Beautiful and how cool that is to get that phone call too, especially at this crazy time we've all been going through. For those not familiar with the character, tell us about the character and about somebody was asking, one of the viewers, I think, asked the question, is it tougher being a soap opera actor than like a primetime actor, or just in terms, I guess, here's one coming in, from Sean. Is it true that being a soap opera actor is more challenging than being an actor on a primetime series?
Well,
what is your acting process?
Here's the thing. I mean,
thanks for the question, Sean.
I consider myself a soap opera actor. I mean, soaps are a lot of what I've done, but I've done a lot of other stuff. Every medium has different challenges and different positive things.
Right.
The challenges with working on a soap opera are that you're doing one show a day. And when I say that, I mean the show airs daily.
Right.
So you have to learn a tremendous amount of dialogue, and you have to make very quick emotional choices, be able to execute them very quickly, and understand that you're not going to have the luxury of either rehearsal or lots and lots of takes. Okay? When you do a play, you got 6 weeks of rehearsal. It's like the best possible scenario for doing the best work. Okay. But you're also, there's a huge rehearsal process. So it's different mediums require different things. TV is really rewarding because it's very fast.
Yeah.
For the most part, it lets you live a pretty normal life because you're shooting, in a studio generally, and the hours are pretty normal. Whereas when you're doing a film, you're on a location, hours are crazy. But doing film, it's really exciting. A film, even if it's a piece of crap, and believe me, I've done movies that are pieces of crap, but I've done some good ones. It's there for posterity. A film, once it's done, is now a piece of the cinematic tapestry of the world. Sometimes that's a good thing. Sometimes you wish it wasn't. But television it's recyclable. It's kind of like, I don't mean this in a derogatory way, but it's the McDonald's of entertainment. You are just catering to the masses, and you have to have a lot of product that you're turning out. I hope that answered the question.
Yeah, absolutely. It absolutely does. And one of the cool things about your career is you've tapped into so many different areas of the entertainment industry. I mean, producing and so much more. I think that's really cool. Do you have a desire to do more of that kind of work? I mean, Studio City is your baby, and you've really been able to be immersed in all these different areas, wear all these different hats with Studio City. Do you enjoy that? Do you enjoy the creation of it, the behind the scenes, as much as being right out on set, on stage?
Acting is my first love, without a doubt. But I do love producing. One of the things I love most about producing Studio City is that I have the incredible privilege of working with my wife, Michelle, who is a phenomenal producer, phenomenal writer. I love that. I love that as one of the head writers of the show, I've got tremendous creative input into it. And as an actor, that's a really rare thing. So producing and writing satisfies something very different, but acting is more immediate and more kinetic. So I suppose if somebody said to me, look, you can be super successful as an actor or a producer or a writer, but you can only do one of them, I would probably choose acting. But I really, there's something I love about all of them.
And especially when they play off each other, so beautifully. So again, during this crazy time of the pandemic and all, you've been able to stay connected and busy, which is fantastic.
Absolutely. And I just wanted to say as a side, Jim, that we have 6 new episodes of Studio City coming out.
Fantastic.
Most likely they're going to be out at the end of next week or the beginning of the following week. It takes once we hand them over to Amazon, they have a couple days to kind of preview them and make sure that we're not putting anything out there that's that runs contrary to what their guidelines and standards are. But Studio City is it's like imminent. It's all completed, and it's going to be coming out very, very soon. And I'm really excited for everybody to see it because these next 6 episodes, we're really proud of them.
Now, tell us about Studio City for those who know you from all the other incredible productions and movies and television series. Tell us about this baby of yours, Studio City, because it might still be new to some people.
Studio City is a show I've been trying to get made for about 15 years, and finally we were able to bring it to fruition. It follows Sam Stevens, who is an aging soap opera star, and he works on the #2 soap opera in the world called Hearts on Fire. And his alter ego on the show is Dr. Pierce Hartley. And he's a guy that is, you look at him ostensibly and you think, here's a guy that's starring on a TV show, works with beautiful women. He's kind of famous. He must have the world by the tail. And he's got all sorts of human flaws. He has somebody shows up at the end of the pilot episode of the first season that he never knew existed, and it throws his life into complete chaos and forces him to confront a lot of sort of Peter Pan growing up issues. He deals with all the insanity of starring on a television show and all the insanity he has on his life off of the show, and he's a guy that's trying to figure it out. And we've got some tremendous actors on the show. We've got Tristan Rogers, who people know as Robert Scorpio from General Hospital.
Yeah.
Carolyn Hennessy, who's been in so many things.
Oh, she was a guest recently on the show. She's amazing. What a sense of humor, huh?
Yeah, we've got a lot of new people coming up. And, the show, it makes you laugh sometimes. It makes you cry sometimes. It makes you think. And, this character, I always say that this character, Sam Stevens, is like, how when you photocopy something, as you photocopy it, like about the 10th photocopy is not as clear as the first one, but, back when you were kids.
Right.
Anyway, Sam is like 10 copies down. In other words, he's I think Sean's a more evolved guy, but Sam is kind of a lot like I was, say, maybe 10 years ago. So he's a character that's very close to my heart. I mean, he definitely is very autobiographical. Not everything in it is from my life. It's sort of an amalgamation of, people that I've met through my life, experiences that I've had. But it definitely is, me drawing on what my 30 plus years in daytime has been like.
When you look at the 30 plus years of daytime, which is hard to believe because it goes by in a New York minute, what are some of the things that pop into your mind? I mean, it's been quite a blessing in so many different ways, right? The opportunities, the people you've worked with, the scripts, just all of it has been, you've had a very solid career on many levels. And what I like about you, Sean, and I mentioned it a couple of times when you've been on previously, you are resilient. You don't give in, you don't give up, you keep forging, you keep finding ways. If there's a roadblock, you find ways to get over the hump, around the blockage. You're very good with that.
Yeah, and again, that's one of the things I talk about in the book is you have got to figure out a way in your life to achieve the success you want to achieve. Life is going to continually throw fastballs at your head and curveballs and everything else. And you've got to be adaptable. And I've always prided myself on being adaptable and trying to recreate myself when necessary. Working in television for 30 years has been interesting. I've definitely had my ups and my downs. I think that I can safely say that, generally speaking, one's career tends to be a marathon rather than a 50-yard dash if you're lucky. And, in the times when it's been difficult for me and when I've struggled, looking back on it now, those really are the moments that define your character. It's very easy when the crowd is cheering and, the lights are shining bright on you to be the guy. But it's when the phone ain't ringing and you're worried about paying the bills and, the chips are down. It's like, how do you act during those moments? And I've had a lot of those moments. I've reacted well sometimes and less well in others, but I've learned from it. And, I know coming out of the pandemic, a lot of people are experiencing, difficulty reintegrating into their previous lives. There's anxiety, there's trepidation. And now with everything going on in Ukraine, which is a very serious situation.
Yes, it is.
It's not only heartbreaking for the Ukrainian people, but it's very scary geopolitically, because if this isn't handled just right, we literally could find ourselves
in a nuclear situation,
in a horrendous situation. And so I think people have a lot of, they got a lot of
angst.
swirl and angst going on. And I honestly believe that the information in my book has the ability to help people deal with some of it, dissipate some of it. I really hope people will reach out and get that, because I didn't realize it at the time, but the book has come out at a fortuitous moment
You
in
know,
what's going on in the
that's
world.
what I was thinking.
Yeah,
Yes, absolutely. It really, really has, because people are looking for clarity. They are looking for focus, and they're looking for some sense of grounding. One of the things I
yeah,
kept telling everybody, off the air and on the air, is go to some of those constants in life. Like, I'm an ocean person. We're here on the East Coast and the
right.
Northeast New York area, between New York and Boston, Southern New England coast. And the ocean
Beautiful.
is right here. And I'm always either swimming, surfing, boogie boarding, sailing it. I got to be near it, and I got to feel it, the tide in and out, the sun setting in and
Right.
out of it. It's larger than me, so I,
Yes.
hand over all respect to it. So
Yeah.
it knows that, and it gives me the respect of providing joy and pleasure. It can wipe me out in a split second if it wants to, but I've got a mutual respect, and I hand over all control to it, and it just fills me up. It's like a zen. That and music, for me, are
Absolutely.
very zen sort of
Yeah, you got to
things.
find your thing. You know what I mean? You got to find that
Yes.
thing that puts you back in stasis. That puts you in sync with the universe. I mean, not to get too woo woo,
No,
but
no, it's quite
I also
true.
tell people, I say, look, if you're anxious about the future, it's because you're not living in the present.
Right.
Okay. So often human beings, they create an idea of a future that may not ever happen. Most of the things that we create anxiety about happen between our ears. They don't
Yeah.
happen externally in the world.
Hmm.
So if you're anxious, it means you're not living in the present. And if you're depressed, other than being, somebody who is clinically depressed,
Yeah.
requiring, medication, it's because you're dwelling on the past.
Right.
And one of the biggest things that I learned that made a huge difference with me is to live in the present. And one of the best ways of doing that is to have a sense of gratitude,
Hmm.
and like you talk about going out in the ocean, when there's something that's bigger than you, that you're grateful for having the ability of, kind of communing with nature, doing something athletic out there, looking at the beauty of it, it focuses you.
Hmm.
And it kind of, it's ego smashing in a good way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. Because it's a control. You're handing over control.
Yeah, I mean, control is an illusion, man. I mean, it's like
Yes.
if you the only thing that we have control over is how we react to external stimuli,
That's
how
right.
we choose to behave emotionally to something. And if you don't believe, if you do believe that you're in control, all you got to do is go outside and briefly look at the sun, which is a dying star, which is someday going to go supernova and is ultimately, without fail, going to swallow our Earth. End of story. It's going to happen. Nothing you can do about it's going to change it. So we're not in control. So you got to work at controlling, what's going on inside of you, because that's the only thing you can't control.
And one of the things we've observed in the last couple of years is a lot of people sort of reacting and overreacting, out of control, just about every topic, every
Yeah.
issue, everything in life. And
Yeah.
instead of coming together and bringing together empathy, kindness, sort of finding balance and
Yeah.
fairness, everybody's over here and over there
Yeah.
and over there. And that's I'm always looking for ways to bring people together. I'm not
Absolutely.
extreme on
You know,
any
you
level.
mentioned empathy. It's such an important thing. Um,
Yes.
People ask me sometimes, they say, look, can you just give me some nuts and bolts things that I can do to be successful? And I thought about this. And so I've come up with a couple of things that if you do these things, you're about 98% guaranteed of having a successful life. It might not be the success that you envision, but you'll be a successful human being. First one, very simple. You learned it in kindergarten, the golden rule. Treat people the way you want to be treated. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. It's not difficult. The second thing, act with integrity. Do what you say what you mean, keep your word. The third thing, treat people with empathy. Okay. I always use this example. You see some elderly woman and she's in front of you at line at the pharmacy and you're in a hurry and she's fumbling with her checkbook to write a check and you're getting pissed off, and that mental stuff that they would arrest you for if anyone could see what's going on between your ears.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. You don't know if she's making the decision if she buys food for the night or she buys, her husband's cancer medication. My
Right.
point is, you never know what private battle other people are fighting. And I promise you, everybody is fighting one. Everybody.
Yes.
And the
Yes.
last, so show some empathy and some compassion. And the last thing is grind. And by grind, I mean, work hard, be passionate about what you do, get out of bed at 5 a.m, figure out ways to always be improving yourself, and always bring value to every relationship that you're in. It's like, for me, and I talk about this in the book, with very few exceptions, do we have to have a zero-sum game where in order for me to win, you have to lose.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. I've never
Very
been
few.
about that. Yeah.
Yeah. And so what's a more effective thing, with few exceptions, is to search for a win-win scenario. Okay. Where you can bring value while getting what you want.
Mm-hmm.
And if you become known as an individual who brings value to whatever they do, you become indispensable. You become in demand.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can do those 4 things that I just talked about, and those are things you can teach a kid. You can teach a little kid that.
Yes.
You're pretty much guaranteed of having some kind of a successful life.
Yeah. That's so true. Absolutely. Never give up is another one. Yes,
Yeah.
that Cafe Tiburon says. It's so absolutely true. When you're having a down day, a tough day, when the news is overwhelming and you're just all
Yeah.
consumed, what are some of the things that you do to calm, cool, and collect for Sean? That's good. Breathing deeply.
Breathing is actually one of them. I find the quickest way for me to get out of a bad headspace is to be of service, to try and do something for somebody else, to reach out to somebody else, get out of my headspace, see what I can do for somebody else.
Yeah.
I'm really fortunate. I mean, I've got my wife who's my best friend, and I've always got somebody with me that brings me up.
We know that because we have evidence of that.
That's my other girl. Yeah.
I was going to say now, that's unconditional love, huh?
Oh man.
Who do we have there?
That's Charlie Kanan, my little girl.
See, you're smiling from cheek to cheek right now.
Right?
Cutie,
Yeah.
huh?
Yeah, she's
Wow.
terrific.
Yeah.
Look, you can do a lot of things. You can go exercise. You can do some meditation. You can put some music on, like you said. Go for a walk. It's basically anything that changes your state.
Yes.
Anthony Robbins talks a lot about this. He has this great thing where he, I think he's got this guy and he's screaming and yelling, and in the middle of the conversation, Anthony Robbins says, "Why are you peeing on your face?" Because the guy's got tears coming down. And the guy goes, "What?"
Yeah.
And he completely disrupts this guy's mental pattern. And you got to learn to do that for yourself. A lot of people do it, unfortunately, with eating, with alcohol, with drugs, with, random sex, things like that. And those all work to an extent. But the problem is you can never get enough of them. And so in my book, I call it filling the hole, WHOLE, because you're trying to feel whole by filling it with external stuff. You got to find a way to do it from within. And another thing I talk about is, you should spend more time working on being happy than finding things to make you feel good.
Right.
And it's completely possible to be in a crappy mood and not having a great day, but still be a happy person. Okay. And so if you spend a little time figuring out how to be a happy person, you don't have to spend a lot of time chasing all of the ephemeral pleasures that really are, they come and they go, and then you got to find it again. And you're in that constant cycle of chasing. And that brings, basically, it's what the Buddhists say brings suffering. It's that continual chase for, fleeting pleasures.
When did you learn that? When was that in your lifetime? Because when we're all in our teens and early 20s, everybody's chasing all the different trappings. And then as time and wisdom and life experience happens and people that you meet and just information that you acquire and
Right.
absorb and ingest, you start to say, well, maybe that's not what it's all about,
Yeah.
Alfie. When did that sort of aha moment happen for you,
I think
Sean?
honestly it happened when I got married. When I really, I found somebody, and Michelle says this great thing to me that I really love. She says, I love you. I don't, Michelle, what do you say about I love you in spite of, she says this great thing. Um, what is it? Yeah, exactly. I can't believe I just forgot that. She says, I love you because of you, not in spite of you. And it basically means, hey,
That's
look, I accept
perfect.
you for exactly who you are. And once I had that framework, that net to feel safe and really start working on myself and developing, I look back at a lot of the things, and it took me a while. Listen, I mean, and again, I say this in the book, like, I'd like to tell you that this all unfolded in a New York minute and it came together like mom's cooking, but it didn't. I mean, I had, there were fits and starts. I'd make progress. I'd, get off the path. But once you kind of understand what the path is, it makes it easier to stay on it, because when you go off the path, and when I talk about going off the path, it doesn't mean are you having a piece of chocolate cake when you shouldn't, or are you drinking. It's not that. It's when you're not behaving in harmony with who that you really are inside. You're doing things that distract you or take you away from your authentic self. It no longer becomes pleasurable, and when you do old behaviors and go, wow, when I was 20, that was a lot of fun to go do that, but it's not really making me happy anymore or satisfying me. I think it's something that really, with rare exceptions, it comes with some age, it comes with some experience, it comes with some failures. you know I mean, it's
Yeah,
very hard to acquire that, I think, if you're an individual in your 20s. I think life
right.
needs to kind of slap you around a little bit, and hopefully, God willing, you learn from it, and that's what helps you evolve into a wiser, more well-rounded person. At least that's what happened for me.
That's one of the reasons why I think people are drawn to the message is because you have it so well thought out, but you're also so open and authentic and honest about your own experiences.
Yeah.
Because people might initially expect, oh, well, he's Hollywood and television movies, everything is going to be, his presentation, his versions are going to be like a Hallmark movie.
No.
And not at
Yeah.
all. You've always been very open and honest, which is incredibly encouraging and inspiring for others to see somebody who's achieved great successes in a very difficult, demanding, crazy, but fabulous industry like these industries we're blessed to be in, but at the same time is human, and he hurts and he
Sure.
stumbles and yet he succeeds. He bounces back up and then wants to show other people that they can do it too because he's lived it. That's such a cool place that you're in right now, Sean, in your
I
life.
just, when I'm putting myself out there as being a sensei, as a teacher, I realized wisely at the beginning of this process. I said, how am I going to connect with people that don't know me? How am I going to get them to trust me? And the way that you do that is by being authentic and sharing vulnerability
Right.
and letting people know that it's not that I've got all the answers. I've got what's worked for me. I think it'll work for you. Let me share it. But when you come from a place of, I guess, self-importance and lecturing, it just pushes people away. And for me, it's paramount that I connect with people so they hear the message. I say in the book too that there's a lot of information that you probably have heard before, but I said my sincerest hope is that me as the messenger is what is now going to allow you to receive it. When you're 16 years old and you're in that, I hate my dad thing, he can be giving you great advice. but you can't hear it. You know, you're too blinded by, you know, the dynamic of I'm 16, I'm pissed off with my dad, he doesn't understand me, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
I don't have that relationship with you. So when you hear it from me, suddenly it's like an epiphany. And then maybe you think back and go, geez, maybe my dad was telling me that a while ago. But, you know, you can only learn it and receive it when you're ready to do it. You know what I mean?
Right. You have to be ready. You have to be ready to receive it
Right.
for it to really be effective, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you know, I've looked back and some of the very advice that I give in the book was given to me at a very young age. I couldn't hear it then. I just couldn't hear it, or I didn't think it applied. And, you know, you want to try and save people you love and friends, and in my case, my readers who have become friends.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of the pain of stumbling and making mistakes that I've made, but sometimes they have to stumble a couple times until they're in a position of being ready to receive the message. I say in the very beginning of the book, I say, look, there's two things you have to do if you truly want to grow and make a paradigm shift in your life. And the first is you have to accept the fact that the universe wants you to win. How do I know that? Well, how does a baby know not to breathe when its head goes underwater? How for 200,000 years were Homo sapiens not the apex predators running around trying not to get eaten by saber-toothed tigers, yet we're still here as the dominant species, and they're a footnote in an anthropology book? It's because it's hardwired in our DNA to survive. Survival is the very basis, the predicate for success. You can't succeed if you're not here. Simple, right?
Right.
So you have to get over that. The universe is against me. It's conspiring. I can't win. Blah. That's crap.
Right.
That's crap.
Right.
The second thing you have to do is take responsibility, because your life is your fault. Everything that you have done, both the questionable and the good choices that you've made, has brought you to this moment in your life. And you have to accept that it's not your dad who never told you were good enough. It's not your mom who was overly critical. It's not your boss who's a pain in the ass. If you've got problems and you're not happy in your life, it's your issue, and you have to save yourself. I can give you the blueprint. You got to take the action.
That's so true. Really so true. And, you know, I like what you say is that maybe earlier in the years, it might have been a message you might not have really received fully. And I had something like that too. I don't know if I mentioned to you the last time you were on, but it had happened around the last time you were on. I was on a television shoot out in Las Vegas, and I was in this town, this little town in the desert called Pahrump, Nevada. And
I've heard of it.
and a very funky, interesting place. And I always like to explore. So after the shoot was done,
this is getting more interesting. Should we tell your audience why?
Well, we were there. It was a television news shoot, and we were featuring this oil painter who moved from Bakersfield, California with her husband. She's probably in her upper 60s, late 70s. And she's got her own home studio. She's written books, fabulous painter, you know, her works in galleries and everything else. When the shoot was over, it's like a 2-day shoot. The crew had to go back to Los Angeles. I still had to wait for the plane the next day in Vegas to take me back east. So I had the rental car and was driving around and just exploring and saying, well, this real funky place this is, you know.
Yeah.
Art Bell, who used to do that late night show on radio, came from here, and just a really funky place. I kept seeing the sign for Death Valley.
Yeah.
And every turn that I took with this rental car, and nobody knew that I was doing this, kept bringing me to the entrance of Death Valley. Now, Death Valley, of course, you know, in the movies, on television, ominous, 180 degrees over here, minus 20 over here, wind, and who knows what's going to happen. Road that goes on forever. So eventually, I just said, what the hell? I think I'll just, something pushed me in. Something pushed me in.
Yeah.
And I start driving in, and it's in August. It's like 2 years ago. It's in August. It's Death Valley. Nobody knows that I'm in this rental car. Nobody knows I'm doing this. I don't have any other supplies. I don't have charged cell phones. Don't have food. I know nothing about this rental car except the make and the model. but I'm driving in. Some force is pushing me in, and I'm in and I'm driving, and I start feeling incredible guilt. And the guilt, I knew exactly what the guilt was.
Yeah.
And it's guilt I had felt before in certain circumstances where I'm experiencing something singular that is spectacular, tremendous, and maybe I even had put it on a pedestal, meaning, hey, if you're going to go somewhere like the Grand Canyon or drive into Death Valley, you want to have loving family and friends around you so we can experience it communally. So I could be taking them in as the
Right.
host and sort of creating this incredible experience for them and hearing their oohs and their ahs and their wow, look at that. And oh my God, grab the camera for that. But there was none of that to be had because I'm doing this alone in crazy Death Valley. So I'm driving in and I feel that guilt that I'm not experiencing this or sharing it with the loving family and friends. And it was guilt that was definitely self-imposed. Family and friends didn't impose that on me to feel guilty that they weren't in the
Right.
car, seeing what I was seeing, experiencing what I was experiencing, which was absolutely tremendous visually, and just the power of it. And then I felt these really cool energies in very strong form, 3 of them. I felt like the energy of a divine guiding. I felt the energy of the actual planet
Wow.
because, you know,
Yeah.
it couldn't be the ocean. It couldn't have been the Zen place. It couldn't
Right.
have been a city skyline or even the forest with all the lushness of the trees and
Mm-hmm.
the grass. It couldn't have been any of that. It had to be raw, stripped earth for
Mm-hmm.
me to feel it and to actually see the earth and say, okay, there's nothing but dirt. There's the planet. So I'm actually feeling this raw pull of the earth. I'm feeling this raw pull of Mother Nature sort of
Mm-hmm.
all around me, guiding me. And then sort of like an unseen divine that's there, sort of overseeing it, giving me an option to say, look, if you want, you can turn this car back. And maybe one day you'll come back and you'll come back with those loving family and friend members, and they'll be in the car and you'll experience it together. Or the other option, you can keep going.
Yeah.
And normally you would probably have had this planned out and had the cell phones charged and
Yeah.
somebody else in the car, and maybe it would be your vehicle instead or whatever. But that's not what you got here, Jim. So you can either keep driving in,
Yeah.
we can go back to the hotel and wait for that flight tomorrow. And I said, you know what? I'm going to keep going. And it was
Wow.
absolutely unbelievable. Like I did it all the way through, all the way back. Had to get back to Pahrump because the flight was the next day. And it was incredibly visually stunning, breathtaking, wild, wacky. You don't know where you're going. The road just keeps going and you're going forever. Nobody knew I was doing it. I didn't call anybody. I didn't
Did
tell
you stop at
anybody.
all, or were you stay in the car the whole time?
Couple of times I stopped just to take some photos and just to really experience some of the things I was experiencing because it's so wide open in some areas where you see almost like tornadic weather on one side, and then you see, bright sun on this side and almost like snow on that side. There was a situation where I saw 4 rainbows coming out of the sky simultaneously, bouncing off the top of one of the mountains, then reflecting this almost lava look expression of copper color back
Yeah.
up to the sky.
The sky's
I'm
on.
like, this is just stunning, incredible stuff I'm experiencing here. So people will say to me, they've said even, you should do a book or something, but they've said that you didn't even need to be in the car with me because they felt like they were through the way I was describing the story. So 3 major things I was left with. And the first was that there's going to be experiences in my life that are going to be singular. I'm the only one in the room at that moment. There's no way I could have called anybody fast enough to get them here to experience this with me.
Right.
So it was going to be singular. It was going to be in touch with self, reliant on self as well. So there'll be experiences where it's meant for me, and don't turn away from them. Just live them, experience them, and enjoy them. The second is every time I'm on a plane, I would always sort of quirk in my seat a little bit because I didn't like when I would hear the flight attendant say, in the event of an emergency, make sure you grab that oxygen mask and put it on yourself first.
Yeah.
I was always of the belief, help thy fellow man. I'm going to get the mask on him or her first. Then I'll grab my mask. Now I realize in order to have the oxygen to help him or her sitting next to me, I have to have the mask on me. They have to put the mask on themselves first, and then we help each other.
Yep.
So it took the Death Valley experience to realize, put the mask on yourself first. Then if you want to help the others, go ahead. And then the third thing, which was paramount as well, was that the world is going to continue to spin on its axis, whether I continue to try to put out all its fires and save it from itself all the time and create boundaries. You got to create some boundaries. You can't always be 24/7 when the earth is calling you, when the world is calling you to rescue it and save it and console it. You need to have some time for you to do that for yourself. If you got some flames in front of you and then the person across from you has flames, you got to grab the bucket and put your flames out first, and then run over with a bucket of water to help them with theirs. And these things came out of that Death Valley drive. And I will say to people, why didn't that happen when I was in my 20s or teens or, earlier years? They said exactly what you were talking about.
You weren't ready to receive it.
You were not ready. You probably wouldn't have recognized it. You wouldn't have been interested in it. And you had to live life and all the experiences you've had in life to have this opportunity for what felt like energy pulling you into Death Valley at that time in your life. And what you had was a gift. You were given a gift. Not everybody's given that, but you recognized it and you seized it and you went in, and those were the experiences that you had. The guilt of the not having the family and friends and being able to share this with them, about 20 minutes into that drive, started to lift and became liberating. That they didn't have to be, because I'm communal. I like to be in the movie theater. We're all watching the Titanic sink and we all feel the same thing at the same time. And that's probably coming from, being a creator. You like to create atmosphere, create communal experiences. We're all feeling these fabulous things.
For me, I love nothing more than being in a movie theater by myself.
Well, in the last 2 years, that's what it was like. Right? Nobody in there.
That's amazing, though, that you had that experience, though, and you were able to get the message, and that it had a profound effect on you, and that effect was transitive. I mean, transitional. I mean, rather that it caused you to have this epiphany. I think it's amazing, and what you're talking about feeling the earth. I absolutely believe that. I mean, I'm not like Mr. Crystal Guy and all that stuff, but I've been to Tulum in Mexico, and it's where the pyramids in Mexico, one of the places there. And you walk onto this area where these pyramids are, and I swear you can feel like this low level humming just coming. I'd never experienced anything like it. So I completely believe that there are places on earth that are like that. And, the desert has an absolute power to it. There's a mystical force in the desert, much like there is with the ocean, much like there is with mountains.
Right.
And what you would deduce from that is that nature has, this incredible ability to cut through a lot of the chaos of our day to day and get to us and affect us in a way that other things don't necessarily have the ability to do as quickly.
Exactly. And again, for me, it had to be like a Death Valley, the risk of death, the risk of anything happening, hot as anything, 110 degrees, whatever. Nobody knew. I didn't plan it out. I didn't, normally you plan it out. Okay, let's get the car checked out. Is it going to overheat? You're going to have a flat tire. Is everybody good? We're good to go? Everybody has all they need. Is everything in the trunk ready to go? And this was just, I was pushed in, and as I was in there, it was just me and Death Valley and those the nature, earth, and divine sort of pulling, and it really was an incredible thing. I mean, I would recommend it to anybody that has the option, but it was something that just happened. That now, I can tell you what also has happened. There were a couple of people who sort of, as a result, when I created boundaries, just sort of fell off a cliff. They just disappeared
Yeah,
because
well, that
they
happens. They don't like it.
expected me to be constantly running and saving and jumping and all of that. And you know, you can't do that 24/7. So they were just there for that purpose. But it's brought in a whole other energy of people who are like, wow, you know, I like this feeling, this aura. I want you at the party. I want to collaborate. I want to work on
Right.
this project with you. I want you there. And that is incredible. What you've experienced is similar in terms of it's given you a deeper, I mean, not that you haven't had, I'm sure you have, but a next level appreciation of our existence, our time on the planet, our
Mm,
relationships to one another in
mhm.
a much more profound way.
Yeah,
You're serious about it, but you're also excited about it and want
right.
people to really, you know, feel it and understand it because it will enhance their lives in such a phenomenal way. And you've seen, you know, being in, you've got all the trappings around you, all the opportunities to go in all these different directions. Some great, some take it down dark roads.
Yeah.
And yet, through all of this, you still at the same time have found this sense of purpose, solace, commitment, resilience, and a forward movement. So, like you're conducting a train and you're making various stops and saying, want to hop on? Want to hop on? We're on our way to somewhere special. That's
Yeah.
how I see the Sean Kanan story.
You know, one of the things that the realizations I've come to is you can't be happy with it until you know how to be happy without it. And what is it? Well, it is anything that you're chasing. Do you know what I mean? It's like, you know, people always say, oh, if I could just get that perfect relationship, that dream house, that one, you know, the job that I've always wanted to have. Even if you get it, you're not going to be happy with it until you understand how to be happy without it and be happy with yourself. And listen, I like nice things. I like expensive things. I like all that sort of stuff. But as I've kind of gone down this path, a lot of the things that were important to me or I thought brought me pleasure don't really hold a lot of importance for me anymore. And when you learn how to do with less, when you do get stuff that's nice or, you know, stuff that's got bells and whistles on it, you appreciate it, but you don't become attached to it.
Exactly right. Exactly right. And you can't. I know a lot of people do. We live in a society where a lot of it is, you know, keeping up with the Joneses and I got this and mine's bigger. And
Yeah.
where do you feel? And it's kind of interesting because, you know, we're all on it. We use it. It's
And
part
social
of,
media.
yes, SM, social media.
Um, well, I think, look, I think properly used, it's fantastic. I think that, you know, from an economic standpoint, it has created a massive amount of wealth for people that might have otherwise not had an opportunity to earn it. I think it's interconnective, but I think the caveat with the whole thing is that, you know, it's not a substitute for social interaction. You know, I mean, it's not a substitute for understanding how to interact with people on a face-to-face level.
Right.
And again, one of the things I talk about in the book, I reference a guy named Marshall McLuhan, who was a communications professor, and he wrote a book called "The Medium is the Message." And the gist of the book is that the mediums that we use to communicate are sometimes more important than the message itself. Here's an example. You know, you're dating a girl and you go to get orange juice in the morning at the refrigerator and there's a post-it note that says, "We're finished, I'm gone." Well, that's a lot different than somebody sitting you down and saying, "Hey, look, we really have to talk," and telling you. So it's almost like the way in which that person chose to impart that information was every bit as big as the message itself. So the
Hmm.
point is, you know, there are certain interactions in life that need to be had face to face. And I worry a lot about, you know, the kids, the younger generation, who they've never known a life without the internet.
Without it.
You know, you
Right.
and I, well, I mean, I remember when there was this thing called ATMs that get, you know, you don't write a check anymore. You don't have to go to the bank to get money. You
Right.
know, there's cell phones, and at first they were like in a briefcase, and then there were
Right.
walkie-talkies, and so we remember all that. But this generation, or is it the last generation, is the first generation that's never not known what it's like to have the internet. And, there are wonderful things that come with that, and we're only going to know longitudinally when it's studied, what are the ramifications of having a generation of kids that, for many, many people say, were not properly socialized due to COVID. They were going to school on Zoom,
right,
and they missed out on a tremendous amount of interpersonal interaction. We don't know what that's going to look like. Is that going to, and also coupled with the fact that they largely communicate through their devices, is that going to result in a generation of people that are less empathetic? I don't know. We're not going to know for a while, but I think, it's what is it? Spider-Man, with great power comes great responsibility.
Right.
And so,
exactly.
yeah, I think the internet's fantastic and social media is fantastic, but there are, lots and lots of pitfalls.
What are some teachable moments you learned about life, about yourself through this pandemic since we chatted last? I mean, you're always, you're like me, we're always learning and absorbing and observers of life. But what are some things that stand out for you, some takeaways from this whole experience, everything you've witnessed, everything you've seen, everything maybe that you've experienced as yourself, Sean?
I think it really, unfortunately, came into focus how certain issues can be so polarizing that we are willing to hand over our civility to get behind one of them. Okay, and by that I mean, instead of just disagreeing with people and saying I don't agree with your viewpoint on this issue, it's become in vogue to eradicate people, to cancel them, to eviscerate the essence of who they are as a human being. And I think that's absurd. And I sincerely hope that the pendulum is swinging back the other way. I think that's the first thing. I was also very surprised at how, in some ways, unfortunately, adaptable people are to largely acquiesce a lot of their personal freedoms because they were being told they had to do it. Now, listen, I'm not one of those people who's an anti-vaxxer. I'm not even a person who's like, I'm not wearing a mask, but I'm also not, one of those people who wears like a triple mask and is afraid to leave their place. So I think that, you've got people that are on all different levels of the spectrum with these issues, and they tend to vilify people that are not, that their thought process isn't aligned with theirs. I think that's one thing that I found really startling. And that was disturbing. I was also very surprised at kind of how quickly the world fell into, okay, this is what we do, this is what we have to do. But a lot of people weren't kind of, wanting it to be, I'm not articulating this well. I think a lot of people were willing to trade off on their civil liberties for what they perceive to be safety.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know that that's completely the essence of what I believe we are as Americans, but that's my opinion. And you sure are welcome to disagree with it. And I'll listen to you and you can tell me. And there's some real valid arguments on the other side. But I guess when we get into these conversations, it's like, hey man, we don't agree with each other, but we can go out and have a drink or split a pizza together, and we don't have to just burn each other to the ground.
Right.
And I think that I was really disappointed that a lot of that happened. I'm also, there were tremendous stories of bravery and courage, and people, I think, really realizing what's important, and that what's important are not things, it's the people in our lives. And telling that person, people not able to see their parents for 2 years, people's parents or loved ones passing away and not being able to say goodbye. And I think hopefully the lesson is that we've learned about, we're so strong as human beings, yet we're so fragile. And life in general has a fragility to it. And that we need to respect that more and have more compassion and love and understanding for each other. And I hope that's some of what the silver lining of this is going to be.
Beautifully said. I think you articulated that perfectly. You took the words right out of my mouth. I think it was, you said it with authenticity and how you really feel. And that's so important because, a lot of people haven't had the opportunity to do that. And it's an interesting time. It's like you say, when we were kids, you threw the ball around, you went in the swimming pool, you did your thing. You were a kid. You were able to be a kid, and any of the adult stuff, the adults knew about it and they took care of it. We still were able to be kids, and the kids that are now out there, they're seeing and absorbing all of this and seeing how the adults are acting. And if you were sent to your room because you didn't finish your supper, you didn't want to go to your room because all you had in there was a bed and a hamper and maybe a black and white TV or something.
Yeah.
Now they want to go to their room because it's like NASA. They have everything they want in their room. Please send me to my room. I want to mention quickly, because this does sort of lead beautifully into it. We showed this earlier a little bit. Tell us about this one-on-one and VIP coaching that you're also doing, which plays beautifully off the whole Way of the Cobra theme.
Well, as people have read Way of the Cobra, a lot of them, I make myself very accessible. You can DM me on Instagram, and I do my best to respond to everybody. It's not always as quick as I would like. And, I put my email out there and I get a lot of interaction from people. And I found myself being put in a position of people asking me advice about things. And I was like, look, I can give you my advice based on what I know. And people started saying, hey, listen, you're giving me some really good advice. And I've always been somebody interested in personal coaching and excellence and everything. And I started doing it a while back, and I've just had tremendous results with my clients, and I really enjoy it. And so I've now got a thriving business practice, I don't know what you call it, where I have clients, and basically what I'm doing is taking them through the concepts and strategies of Way of the Cobra. And it's really wonderful. And as I said before, I learn as much as I impart, I guess. And so if anyone is interested in finding out more about personal coaching with me, you can email me at sean.kanan@gmail.com, or hit me up on Instagram, which is sean.kanan. And, I try and make time as best I can for people to bring on new clients. I don't take everybody because I can't. But if you're serious about it and really looking to make, some significant positive change in your life, then I'd love to be a part of it. But Jim, before I forget, I got to plug the book signing, the book event. If you're in the Los Angeles area, this Saturday, which is March 12th at 2 p.m. at the Barnes & Noble at the Grove, we're going to have an awesome event for Way of the Cobra. I'm going to do a reading from the book. We're going to have a moderated Q&A and interview hosted by James Lott Jr. We're going to have a lot of cool surprise celebrity guests. We're going to have some food. We're going to have some champagne, and it's completely free to the public. You don't have to buy my book. Come and say hi. And this is just my way of thanking everyone who's been so supportive of me and of the book. So I hope we see just hundreds and hundreds of people descending on Barnes & Noble next Saturday. And it's going to be a phenomenal event. And I'd like to welcome everybody to please come.
Sheila says, everyone needs to read Way of the Cobra.
Sheila is a terrific friend of mine, and she's made some remarkable progress in her life. My buddy Peter DeNovi's out there, and Angie Theo, and all these people that I've come to know initially without meeting them in person, and then they've become really great friends. And we're all sort of in this together, all trying to figure it out and become the best, most authentic, successful people we can become, and we help each other.
Absolutely. And that's what it's all about, one helping the other. And I want to show you that Peter here says, Peter A. Denovi Jr. I have done a bunch of coaching with Sean. He's super down to earth, really helped me work on what was bothering me most, which is really cool. You know, I
Thanks.
bet you get a lot of cool feedback like that, huh?
I do. And, like I said, it helps me, and it keeps me connected, and it keeps me authentic and thinking about these issues that we all deal with and struggle with. And, I think a lot of people sort of never get on the path. They're just sort of like a leaf going down a winding creek, and they're going whichever way the water is rushing. And, when you kind of get on the path and you start thinking about these issues and thinking about, you know, how do I find happiness within instead of without? And how do I help other people and inspire them? Like I said, even when you fall off the path, you're still on the path. Once you've been exposed to the path, you can't, it can't be unseen, is, I guess, the way that I would say it. And it doesn't mean you're not going to have struggles, and it doesn't mean that you're not going to face challenges and have difficult times, but it's it's a constant process of evolving and trying to just become a better version of yourself.
That's really what it is. Exactly. What are some other cool things you have coming up that you want to maybe share? Other projects, other things that are happening for you, Sean?
Well, I have I've always wanted to do a sci-fi movie, and I've got a really cool sci-fi movie coming out
Oh, cool.
later this year called Colonials. And I play a 145-year-old shipwrecked alien who was in an apocalyptic war, and that's a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to that. I've seen parts of the movie, and it looks absolutely terrific. What else is going on? Like I said, we've got 6 new episodes of Studio City coming out.
That's cool.
I am going to be starting a weekly subscription-based Zoom seminar where you can get on a Zoom call with me, and every week we're going to be doing stuff just like we're doing now, Jim. We're going to be chopping it up, looking at life, talking about things that are in Way of the Cobra. I'm really excited about launching that. Way of the Cobra just came out on Amazon. I can never figure out where the camera is. There we go. Okay. And so it's on Amazon, and the ebook is finally out. And the ebook is on Kindle. And, for a lot of people that are in Australia and where the U.S. Post Service isn't delivering right now, or if you're in Europe and it's expensive to ship it over there and you have to wait, get the ebook and you can be reading it tonight. And so
How long did it take you to write it? How long did it take you from the first thought of it to the completion and knowing, and how did you know when to end it? When were you comfortable to say, this is the last sentence and this is the period on the last sentence? Tell us about that, the writing process for you.
Here's what happened. I was working on this idea for a self-help motivation book for a long time. And it was going to be called Freeing David. And it was going to take the metaphor of how Michelangelo created the David statue. And supposedly when he was asked how he created David, he said, I stared and stared at the block of marble, and I chipped away all the stone that wasn't David until there was only David. Metaphoric for chipping away all the fear, all the anxiety, all the things to get to our, to get to our authentic self. And I would write and I'd put it away, and I'd write and I'd put it away. And when I saw what a huge success Cobra Kai was, and me being kind of a playing an iconic character in the Karate Kid universe, I said, I can write this book, Freeing David, and have a small number of people read it, or I can retool this information and I can expose it to millions. And once I had that epiphany, I was able to finish it very quickly, within a couple of months. I had all this great information, and it was too heavy-handed. It was preachy. It was good information, but the voice was off. And then once I was like, okay, I'm going to do this like I'm a sensei in a dojo. I'm going to make it fun, but I'm going to make it valuable. It spoke to me. And then it came very, very quickly. And I was very fortunate to have my wife edit the book and format the book. There's a whole lot in making a book. I mean, you can have a great manuscript, but either you pay a lot of money to somebody who may or may not do it correctly, or you have a big publisher But I was very fortunate to have a wife who's got a multitude of different skill sets. And once that happened, we were able to get it done very quickly. And now I'm already working on the follow-up book, which I'm really excited about. And that'll probably come out, very early next year. Very early next year. I don't think I'm going to put it out this year. It'll come out early next year.
That is fantastic. Yeah. Really, really cool. And you're a team. The two of you are a real team, which I think is awesome. Somebody had a question real quick. I mean, this is difficult because each one is unique. Each one is special. But do you have a favorite role that you've played? That is, if you were to look at all the stuff you've done, the one that you just really either thoroughly enjoyed or spoke to you the most, or whatever the case may be. Is there one that really stands out for you of the many you've taken on?
Well, I really do love the role I play on Bold and the Beautiful. I love playing Deacon Sharpe. I really love playing Sam Stevens on Studio City because I create my dialogue. I mean, what I say is what I write, and to have that latitude and freedom is something that actors don't normally get. And it's incredibly kind of rewarding and fulfilling for me. But I find something I like about almost every project I do. I really, with few exceptions, you have some experiences that are not great, but for the most part, I've had some wonderful experiences. There's probably something special, even with the bad movies and the things that I've done that were not great work experiences. I've had just something special with each and every one. Even Karate Kid, and I talk about this in the book. People think that Karate Kid 3 is such a special movie for me because obviously, it was a big budget picture. It's known throughout the world. That's not why. The reason is because a lot of you know this, but for those of you that don't, I almost died making that film. And had to fight my way not only back into the film, but back into this world. And so I wound up doing all my own stunts in the film, and I've got a 13-inch, that's not 13 inches anymore, it's about an 8-inch scar on my abdomen to remind me. But at a very young age, when I was tested with my own mortality, it revealed some of my character, which I didn't know existed before. And so for that reason, that movie's so important to me because I know what it took to get through it, to finish it. It wasn't about, it was my first big budget movie. It was a world famous franchise. It was that when the chips were down, at least during that experience, I was able to summon up what I needed to sum up to overcome.
And at an early age too, to have, that ability
22.
To pull from within, and probably maybe starting that inner journey and inner exploration.
Absolutely.
To see, what you're made of and what, and Sheila cuts to the chase. She says, well, that's because you're a badass, Sean.
Well,
with everything else we talked about, she says, the bottom line is you're a badass. That's it. Well, you have to have some of that in you to survive some of life's craziness. Absolutely. That's for sure.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And everybody comment. We appreciate all these great comments from everybody coming in here. So life is good. And that's right.
Life is good, man. I am blessed. I've got lots of exciting stuff that I'm involved in.
Yeah.
This has really sort of opened up a new chapter in my life that has not only been very successful for me creatively and professionally, but it's had a profound change on me as a man. And that's been the most wonderful byproduct of it. The rest of it is just me kind of, paying it forward and passing it and sharing it. But what I've been able to learn from all of this and extrapolate from the process of writing the book and, really sort of examining things over the last couple of years has been just life-changing and invaluable.
Incredible. It's always a pleasure when you hop on the Jim Masters Show live, my friend. We always go in a lot of different directions. We talk about, some of the cool things you've had an opportunity to be a part of in your career, some of the new things you're working on, and just how, you're continuing to be positive and inspiring to so many. Way of Cobra is a phenomenal way for people to be exposed to all of that. And you're, you're a good guy, one of the good guys out there doing good work.
I appreciate that. And you know what, so are you. And you do very much the same thing in your own different way. With all the people that you reach, you touch their lives, you give them, a sense of happiness and almost a sense of a familial feeling of, this is a place they can come listen to you, a trusted guy in their life. And so back at you. I really appreciate everybody who's tuned in for this. I know I've got a lot of friends out there and a lot of probably new people that probably didn't know who I am, but thank you so much for doing it. I do hope you'll get the book. I hope you'll benefit from it and learn from it. And I look forward to us doing this again sometime, Jim.
Absolutely. We'll definitely, as we always say, keep the porch light on for you. And Sean, on point tonight. I agree. Thank you, Sean Kanan and Jim Masters. Our pleasure. Love you, Sean, as well. Great job, Jim. I obviously subbed. Fantastic. Thanks for joining us on the Jim Masters Show live and our YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV. Kathleen Walker, New York City. It's great to see you back here, Sean. Love your work. How is becoming a triple lovety? That's right. You're a lovety now on the Jim Masters Show live 3 times. Changed your life. I was
going to get a car in the 3rd time. I guess that was a rumor.
Well, no, but you do get some lovety always from George Burns. I mean, you can't top that, but you're talking to God here,
Right.
God himself. He said, once again, trifecta, you knocked it out of the park.
We're going to have to see what happens on the 4th time.
4th time's the charm, right? That is funny. Couple more.
All right, brother. Listen, I got to go because I've got a bunch of lines I have to learn for tomorrow.
Oh, that's right. Exactly. Yeah. Thanks to everybody with all these great comments. And Sean is happy.
Everybody. I sincerely appreciate it. Okay. And you know what? If you want to keep up with me, please follow me on Instagram or on Twitter. And I do my best to get back to everybody.
You're the best, my friend.
All right,
Let's stay in touch.
And we meet again.
Absolutely. Bye-bye. You take care. Thanks again for being with us. Let's take a look at some of these comments that are coming in here. Thanks, Sean. I've enjoyed this chat tonight, and I'm enjoying your return to Bold and the Beautiful. That's right. He is on there. Cobra Kanan from Peter. Absolutely. It was really cool that Sean came on tonight. A little backstory. Originally, we were looking at what date, to have him come back because he wanted to come back on the show. New things to talk about, things to celebrate. This is his 3rd visit to the Jim Masters Show live. He's been here 3 times, and every time is always a blast, and we always have a good time. He had to scoot off because he has lines. He has to, he's got to shoot tomorrow. So he's got lines that he has to rehearse like now. So what he did was, which is kind of cool. Thank you, Cafe. I appreciate that, Cafe. Tiburon. He literally, so we generally do the shows when we're on during the weeknight. We're on every day, 7 days a week. Sometimes we do afternoon shows on the weekend. Sometimes we've done 2 shows a day. But generally, right now during this time of the year, sort of our winter hours, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. So he was going to try to do the 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. He said, but he's going to be coming from a shoot. I thought in a car, but on that scooter, on the bird, scooting around. If you saw somebody going along the sidewalks there in Los Angeles at a really fast pace, it was probably Sean getting home so he can get here in time. He was going to attempt to do the 7 Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 Eastern for us on the East Coast, 4 p.m. where he is in LA. And then he said, it might be tight, but I'll try to do it. And I said, no, don't kill yourself. We will adjust. I don't have a radio show tonight or another television shoot. So, because I work in television radio too, for those of you who are new to our show, and we welcome you if you're new to the show. I said, we'll move the show time. We will push the show an hour forward. So don't kill yourself. Don't rush. You get home, you change, you relax, get a, glass of something and just, set up your lighting. We always chat with the guests prior to the show so they can set up their lighting, make sure their screen looks good. The audio is good. We test the audio. If they're going to sing or dance or perform, we test all of that out as well. So I said, we'll do the show at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 Pacific. You have an extra hour to get home and to do what you have to do, and then you can come on the show. And he loved that. He thought it was great that we were able to do that for him. And I said, no problem. Absolutely. You're a great guest, a great friend. We're going to be breaking bread soon too. He wants to break bread. He said that actually after the first conversation we had. He had said, Jim, I want to get together. We got to, do dinner. We've got to chat about, we're kindred spirits in a lot of different ways. And so we'll be doing that either when he's out here on the East Coast or on a shoot or something, or visiting family on the West Coast. So we decided to do it at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. And so he literally came from a shoot, being on set. And then, and it was Bold and the Beautiful. He was filming episodes of Bold and the Beautiful, and then came from there right home, quick changeroo, got set up. We connected about 20 minutes before the show, and then we just did our conversation. And then he's got lines to rehearse because he's back on set tomorrow. So it's really, really cool. Hey, guys, if you want to follow me, I'm on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Jim Masters TV. Been there a long time. Our YouTube channel is the one you're watching right now. That is Jim Masters TV. Definitely. Anybody that's new, we welcome you to come back. We've done about 640, 50 plus episodes. And I think that is really, really fantastic. So definitely check us out, and we appreciate all of this. You didn't know our channel existed. Well, fantastic. I'm glad. Welcome, Cecilia. You can see the other 2 times that Sean was on, as well as guests that come in from Broadway, Hollywood, television, film, music, comedy, sports, culinary arts, inspiration, celebrity friends, musicians, singers, actors, performers, authors. We've had pet sitters, everybody from around the world too. Our guests come from around the world. I'll definitely be watching more. Thanks, Jim. I'm glad you made it through Death Valley. So am I. And I'm glad that you enjoyed that story about Death Valley. I've shared it a couple of times on our show and professionally, and it's just really fantastic. You're all now Lovities, gang. You are all now Lovities. Thank you, Cafe. Now I have to watch you more. Didn't know about your channel. Great job. Thank you. We're always welcoming new people all the time. Once you watch our show, you're a Jim Masters Show Lovity. I said a year ago that the show has a lot of light, love, and levity. And I said it too fast. I said the word Lovity. So the audience said, that's it. We love it. You're Mr. Lovity. This is Lovity Hall. We're your Lovity squad. And all the guests are Lovities. So you guys are all part of the JMS Lovity squad. What you can do is spread the word. Tell everybody you know about the Jim Masters Show Live. Again, I work professionally in television, radio, stage, and film. And we started this series back in April of 2020. We do the show live. It's interactive. And we've done it just about 7 days a week ever since. The channel you're watching is Jim Masters TV. Subscribe. Click the notification bell too. There's a little bell icon there. Make sure you click it so you're notified about all the incredible episodes that we have. Let me tell you about tomorrow night's show. You probably saw this person on CBS News on Inside Edition. He's actually a well-known and respected Los Angeles writer and journalist. And he and his family contracted COVID. And it hit him really hard. He actually ended up almost dying. He had to get a tracheotomy. And his story is riveting. It's inspiring. It's impactful. He's going to be here tomorrow night, live from Los Angeles. Jeff Sweat, who owns a PR and marketing firm as well. And again, a wonderful writer and journalist. He was down for the count. And again, his story was featured on all the major networks and was also on Inside Edition and a lot of other shows. He's coming here tomorrow to tell his story and share some inspiration and lots more. He credits opera singing for helping him recover and heal, believe it or not, since the tracheotomy. His friend is an opera star, and she helped him actually get his voice back and recover from the illness, from COVID. It's absolutely incredible. And he's going to be here. That is tomorrow night. That is at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. And then on Wednesday, look who's going to be here. Rob Dames is going to be here. He is a legend in the television, film, and theater industry. He has worked on either as a writer, producer, or director, and these are just some of the many, many, many shows. Full House, Give Me a Break, The Love Boat, Benson, Marblehead Manor, Me and the Boys, The Flintstones movie, yes, with Rosie O'Donnell, Casper, and on and on and on. He's extraordinary. He's written plays, television series episodes, movies, and so much more. And he is here. He's a legend in the industry. He is with us on Wednesday, this Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific live. I can't wait. Then also from Saturday Night Live, one of their legendary vocalists, good friend Christine Ullman, the Beehive Queen, acclaimed singer-songwriter from SNL. She's going to be with us coming up in just a couple weeks as well. So definitely look for that. We thank our friend, our buddy, Sean Kanan, for joining us here on the Jim Masters Show Live entertainment lifestyle talk show series. We don't call this an interview show. We call it an entertainment lifestyle talk show series, bringing back the lost art of conversation, sort of Regis Philbin, Dick Cavett, Johnny Carson way, with a modern twist, modern vibe of today. He's done it all. Studio City. He's back on The Bold and the Beautiful, so you can catch him on CBS on The Bold and the Beautiful. Of course, Cobra Kai, The Karate Kid 3, where he opened up about how he almost died at filming that. The Young and the Restless, and of course, AJ Quartermaine, many years, General Hospital, and so much more. And of course, Studio City, another one, of course. And Way of the Cobra is the book, which is really, really cool. And we thank him very much for popping on the show again for a third visit. Always a great guy, class act, always open and real, which I think is awesome. It's kind of refreshing, you know, to have open and real. We're about that here on the Jim Masters Show Live. But I think it was really cool conversation and lots of levity and good times. Let's check out some of the great comments that are coming in here. I see a lot of good comments coming in from our lovely squad. Thank you, Jim, for another wonderful show. Have a great Tuesday. You as well, Sherry Larson there in Kansas. Love you guys. Sheila, we love you back. Thank you so much for being with us on the Jim Masters Show Live. Down to earth, Peter, I agree 110%. Absolutely. Great job, both of you. Cafe Tiburon. I hope I'm saying that right. Tiburon. Cafe for short. Thank you very much. We love it. And this is really cool. Kathy Short watches in Cleveland. She's one of our regular lovelies. Thanks, Sean. I enjoyed this chat tonight. I'm enjoying your return to Bold and the Beautiful. It's good to see you, Kathy. We haven't seen you in a while. It's so nice to see you here on our show. Sean, it's been a blast and informative visit. Merlin in Ontario, Canada. Absolutely. I agree. Really has been. You guys are great. Maureen says, you won't want to miss another show, Cafe. This is the place to be. Hope you return soon. I agree as well. I hope you return soon. And Kathleen in New York City says, great show. Thank you, Jim, as always. Thank you. All the lovities are welcoming everybody as well. Big storyline. Yes. I love long form conversations. So do I. That's why we don't call this an interview show, where we would have just plugged his book, his appearances on Bold and the Beautiful, and that's it. Now we get into some good conversations. Fun show tonight. Peter, we are here on the East Coast in the New York, New Jersey area. That's where we are, tri-state area, between New York and Boston, southern New England coast. That's where we are, here on the northeast coast of the United States. Always interesting to watch. Yes. Fill your gas tanks. Fill your gas tanks and drive slow. For those of you in California, wow, your gas prices are through the roof. They're getting up there here on the East Coast too. I think I paid $4.59, although I did put premium in the car, $4.59 for a gallon just on Friday. I was on a couple of TV shoots up in Massachusetts, and we were with the crew, and we needed to fill the tank, and it was up there. Thank you, Kathy Short in Cleveland. Great show tonight. Always good to see you as well. Thumbs up from Merlin in Ontario. Cafe. I love it. Fantastic. Spread the word. Tell everybody about the Jim Masters Show live here on our YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV. Maureen says, good night, Jim and my dear Lovedies, and welcome again to our newest Lovedies. Hope to see you here more often. You'll love it here. I agree. Everybody's welcome to join us at the Jim Master Show live. Every show is something different and unique. Have a great night. Good night, all. And Kathleen Walker in New York City, you as well. Going to watch the episodes in the archives. We archive and save all of our episodes on our YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV. So check that out. Jane in Sweden says, thanks for being here. This was an interesting show. Thanks, Jim. My pleasure. Night, everyone. And Jim, you too, Jane. I know. Nikki's here. A great show. Many new commenters, it seems. Thanks to Jim. And be seeing you, Lovedies. Thank you, Nikki, as well. Always a pleasure when you're here. We always have so much fun. David Thistle is here. Great show. I love that. Thank you very much. Our guest went up 30 cents in one night in San Diego, California. I know, it's crazy stuff, huh? You too, Cecilia. Welcome to the Jim Masters Show live. It's so nice to see you guys here. Those that are watching live, we thank you very much for being here on the show. Those of you who are watching this in the archives later on in the replay, we thank you for being here as well. Spread the word. Tell everybody about, of course, the Jim Masters Show live. As we always say, don't forget to smile. Don't forget to share the JMS Lovedy. There's the ocean. We were talking about how much I love the ocean, and it's my Zen place. Also, my work in television, radio, stage, and film over the years is a Zen place for yours truly as well. Gang, you're the best. We've got such a great audience here on the Jim Masters Show live. We love you all. Again, whenever you see this logo, you know you're going to have a good time. And we're all going to come together for good times on the Jim Masters Show live. We're going to zip out of here. We'll be back tomorrow. Busy day I have on set. A couple of television shoots and then a multitude of radio series shows to do. But we will be back in this chair with all of you. And Jen in Pennsylvania says, see you later. Thank you very much, my friend. And thanks again to Sean Kanan hopping on the Jim Masters Show live for the third visit. Really, really cool. We love you all. Take care, everybody. Be well. And we don't say goodbye on our show. We just say see you later. And thanks for all the great comments. Thanks all. Thank you, David, as well. Sincerely appreciate it. We appreciate every single one of you for being a part of the Jim Masters Show live and supporting us. Some of you do super chat, super emoji, super stickers during the live comments. Some of you have done, there's a little heart icon under each episode. It's called Thanks. You click that, you can support the show and celebrate all this hard work we're doing. And we appreciate that as well. We'll see you again soon, okay? Back here tomorrow. It's going to be another amazing show for all of you on the Jim Masters Show live. Take care, love one another, be well, and we'll see you again soon. Cheers.